Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strangely drained, even though the other person smiled the entire time? Have you ever sensed that someone secretly disliked you, but you kept convincing yourself you were overthinking? And what if the people hurting your confidence are not your enemies, but the ones pretending to be your friends? Most people fear obvious hatred, but hidden dislike is far more dangerous, because it hides behind politeness, fake compliments, forced laughter, casual conversations that slowly poison your self-worth without you realizing it. And the painful truth is this: some people do not want to see you fail openly. They simply want you to doubt yourself quietly. This is not paranoia. This is awareness. The Stoics understood something most people ignore. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Marcus Aurelius warned that we become like the people we constantly surround ourselves with. Their habits shape us. Their attitudes affect us. Their bitterness eventually touches us. So today, you will discover the hidden signs that someone secretly dislikes you, even if they pretend everything is fine. And stay until the end, because the final sign reveals the kind of betrayal that destroys trust faster than almost anything else. If this resonates, comment 1. Imagine being around someone who constantly jokes about your flaws, your appearance, your mistakes, your insecurities. At first, you laugh along because you do not want to seem sensitive. Most people do this. They tolerate disrespect disguised as humor because they are afraid of confrontation. But slowly, something inside you changes. Your confidence weakens around that person. You start becoming careful with your words. You begin shrinking yourself just to avoid becoming the next joke. And that is exactly the point. Most people think insults only hurt when they are direct. But hidden resentment often hides inside sarcasm and fake humor. A person who genuinely values you will not constantly use your weaknesses as entertainment. This is not harmless teasing. This is subtle disrespect. Seneca once said that true friendship is built on mutual respect and honesty, not humiliation disguised as closeness. And pay attention carefully. People often reveal their true feelings through what they repeatedly joke about, because jokes are sometimes truths wearing a mask. Most people ignore this sign until their self-esteem is already damaged. But you begin noticing patterns. You stop laughing at things that quietly destroy your dignity, and the next sign becomes even more manipulative because it sounds positive on the surface. Think about compliments that somehow make you feel worse instead of better. Wow, I didn't expect you to do that. That's actually impressive for someone like you. You're smarter than I thought. The words sound polite, but the energy feels wrong, because hidden inside the compliment is surprise, disbelief, even superiority. Most people ignore backhanded compliments because they desperately want approval. But you begin understanding something deeper. Real admiration does not make you feel small. People who secretly dislike you often compete with you emotionally. They cannot openly attack your success, so they try to reduce it subtly. Not enough to start conflict, just enough to plant self-doubt. This is not encouragement. This is disguised contempt. Epictetus believed that insecure people constantly seek power over others because they lack control over themselves. And sometimes that power comes through psychological games. They praise you while quietly reminding you they never believed in you. And over time, if you are not careful, you start seeking validation from the very people damaging your confidence. That is why self-respect matters. Because once you know your worth, fake approval loses its power. If you feel this, comment ready. Now imagine constantly finding out about plans after they already happened. Everyone went out together. Everyone knew. Everyone was invited, except you. And every time there is an excuse. We thought you were busy. It happened last minute. We forgot. Once may be accidental. Twice may be coincidence. But repeated exclusion is communication. Most people stay in relationships where they are merely tolerated instead of genuinely valued. They keep forcing themselves into spaces where their presence is optional. But you begin seeing the truth. People make time and space for what matters to them. This is not rejection. This is redirection. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to waste energy seeking acceptance from people incapable of giving genuine respect. And here is the painful reality. Being excluded hurts because humans are wired for connection, but staying where you are, constantly overlooked, slowly destroys your spirit even more. Most people beg silently for inclusion, but you stop chasing people who repeatedly show you where you stand, because dignity begins where desperation ends, And this next sign is one many people refuse to admit to themselves. Think about the people who are always busy when it comes to you. Too tired, too occupied, maybe next week, maybe another time, but somehow, they always have time for others. Most people cling to excuses because the truth hurts. They tell themselves the person is just stressed or overwhelmed, but effort reveals priority. Someone who values you may not always be available, but they will try. They will check on you. They will make small efforts. They will not make you feel like a burden for simply existing. This is not about demanding attention. This is about recognizing emotional availability. Seneca once wrote that people reveal their character through action, not words. And few things reveal priorities more clearly than where someone chooses to spend their time. Most people hear promises, but you begin watching patterns, and patterns rarely lie. Because when someone genuinely cares about you, you do not constantly feel like you are asking for permission to matter. Now pay attention to something even more revealing: body language. Sometimes the truth appears before words ever do. Think about someone who avoids physical closeness with you. Specifically, they avoid eye contact, avoid sitting near you, avoid touching your hand. Their smile disappears faster around you than around others. And the energy always feels cold, even when they are technically being polite. Most people ignore body language because they only listen to words, but the body often exposes emotions. The mouth tries to hide. This is not imagination. Humans naturally create distance from people they feel uncomfortable around emotionally. And when someone behaves warmly with everyone else but strangely distant with you, your intuition usually notices before your mind accepts it. This is why the Stoics valued observation over assumption, not paranoia. Observation. Most people explain away every uncomfortable feeling, but you begin trusting the signals your mind and body recognize, because peace often requires accepting truths you wish were not real. And what comes next is perhaps the clearest test of all: hard times. Imagine going through a painful moment in your life. Stress, loss, depression, failure. Suddenly, the people who were always around become silent. No calls, no support, no presence. They disappear the moment your life stops being entertaining. These are what people call fair-weather friends. They love your light, but avoid your darkness. Most people mistake proximity for loyalty, but real relationships are revealed during difficulty. Anyone can stand beside you when life is easy, but hardship exposes intentions. This is not abandonment. This is revelation. Epictetus believed adversity reveals the true nature of people. Pressure removes masks. And perhaps one of the most painful realizations in life is understanding that some people only loved the version of you that required nothing from them. But you stop begging for support from emotionally absent people, because maturity means recognizing who truly stands beside you when life becomes heavy. And finally, the last sign, the one that destroys trust quietly from behind closed doors: gossip. Pay attention to people who constantly speak negatively about others, their secrets, their failures, their embarrassing moments, because someone comfortable betraying others verbally will eventually do the same to you. Most people think gossip is harmless entertainment, but gossip often comes from insecurity, envy, and emotional emptiness. And the worst part is this: sometimes the people smiling in front of you are discussing your struggles the moment you leave the room. Your mistakes become stories. Your pain becomes conversation. Your trust becomes entertainment. This is not friendship. This is betrayal wearing a friendly face. Marcus Aurelius warned against wasting time with people who feed themselves through negativity and judgment, because eventually their poison reaches everyone around them. And once you recognize this pattern, something changes inside you. You become more careful about who receives access to your private world. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Not everyone deserves your energy. Most people ignore small signs because they fear loneliness. But loneliness is far less dangerous than constantly surrounding yourself with people who slowly damage your spirit. This is not bitterness. This is self-respect. And here is the truth nobody says enough: the right people will never make you feel emotionally unsafe for being yourself. You will not constantly question where you stand. You will not feel drained after every interaction. You will not need to decode every word, every silence, every mixed signal. Real respect feels calm. Real friendship feels safe. Real connection does not require you to shrink yourself to remain accepted. So stop ignoring patterns just because you fear losing people. Some relationships survive only because you keep refusing to see them clearly. And the moment you finally choose peace over approval, your life begins changing. Because protecting your energy is not selfish, it is necessary. Watch actions more than words. Watch who appears when you struggle. Watch how people speak about others. Watch how they make you feel after you leave the room. The truth is almost always there, quietly revealing itself. If this spoke to you, comment strong. And if you are ready to build a stronger mind, protect your peace. And stop settling for fake connections. Subscribe and stay for the next video, because the next lesson may help you see people in a way you never have before.